Alexis, up for debate. Minnesota Wild, as we said, #1 in the NHL, #1 across the board. But you pose the question of who do we think has the most likely chance to catch up to the Wild? They're separating themselves fairly well. Will it be the Colorado Avalanche, the St. Louis Blues, or the Winnipeg Jets? Alexis, what did you think? First, what did our folks out there, what did our audience say?
I actually don't even remember what people were in majority of for this one. I'm kind of torn. I really am scared of the Blues just because the Wild have played so poorly against the Blues recently. So like if it comes down to, they're fighting for the top spot and it comes down to the tiebreakers and how do they play against them this season, that worries me. But I think the best team between the three of those options is by far the Colorado Avalanche. So I'm torn between the two. I'm going to go with Blues just because I think the Wild, I don't know. They play okay against the Avalanche. They've just looked horrendous against the Blues lately. So that really scares me. And we know what the Blues have done to the Wild in the playoffs and all of that. So that one is the most concerning to me. The Jets are just a weird team this year. Like half the time they play really well. The other half the time it's like, are you even trying? So I don't know. I'm really not concerned about the Jets. Even though the Wild have played one really close game against them and one blowout game against them. So I'm going to go Blues. Blues scare me. Jesse, how about you?
I mean, yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
What about your Chicago Blackhawks? Are they coming up? Are they coming? Yeah. You
Can I speak now?
About it.
Can I speak now, please?
I'll let you finish.
Can I speak? I think I need a moment. I think that why? Because whatever I say is going to be wrong, probably.
No, here's your chance to redeem yourself. Give us a hot take. Come on, lead the way here.
I mean, it's going to be the Blues or the Avs. It's probably going to be the Avs, just for sake of differentiating myself from you. St. Louis scares me because, yeah, they always manage to figure it out. They're scoring a lot as well. And Colorado's Colorado. I mean, they're right behind in the goals race, despite kind of being down in the league as a whole. But I mean, you still got Nathan McKinnon. You still got Landeskog. I mean, you got Cale Makar, who I think is even more threatening than anything else. Goaltending obviously is their biggest issue, I think, there. So, I mean, if the defense that Minnesota has been putting out there remains stout, which it will, why not? I mean, you could easily go with the Avs, but I'll say the Avs. The Avs will probably come up, do Colorado Avalanche things, and make it a little bit miserable for the Minnesota Wild.
That's what I mean. Like, even though the Avs are several spots below the Wild in the standings and whatnot, like I'm still scared of the Avs. Like I wouldn't want to play them in the playoffs. I wouldn't want it to come down to like a last minute game for who's going to win the division or who's going to get the last playoff spot. Like I'm genuinely worried about the Blues, but the Avs are for sure the best. Like, who would you least want to play in the playoffs? Like between those three teams? Like that's what I think about. I'm like,
I mean, you don't want to play any of them because playoffs obviously bring out a whole new mentality. And I think Winnipeg in the playoffs is going to be a very good competitive team because it's they're kind of coming up on a last hurrah. Those guys are getting old, Scheifele and Wheeler. And, you've got Luc Dubois, who is still a little bit young, but I mean, I think they're kind of getting desperate to make a deep run. So I think come the playoffs, I wouldn't want to play any of the teams naturally.
Right.
But St. Louis, I think, has always kind of also had a number. I think Minnesota plays well against Colorado in the playoffs for the most part.
That's what I mean. Like I have faith that the Wild, as good as the Colorado Avalanche is, we always get a good matchup between those two teams in the playoffs. Yeah. So like I'd be a little less worried about them like catching them and even if we end up with them in the playoffs, like the Blues just freak me out. And I don't even think the Blues are that good of a team. The Wild just struggle against them like in the regular season, in the playoffs. So it's like I don't want any of that. Give me Colorado all day, which I'll probably regret saying that. Watch them knock the Wild out in the first round of the playoffs, and we'll run this tape back and be like, there it was. She just jinxed them right there.
Yep, Alexis jinxed them. Please don't forget that. But Alexis is jinxing the Minnesota
Jesse's
Wild.
taking notes. She's like, Alexis had a hot take today. Write this down in case she's wrong.
Do not forget it.